Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining today. We're right at the top of the hour, so I see there's quite a few people on. I'm sure some will be jumping on here now in the last minute. Just some, understanding of this. This is really asking questions as we go. Put them in the chat. Make sure that so we can make sure we answer your questions. We want to thank you very much for your business and interest in learning more about the ProductivityNOW platform and how you can customize it for yourself, what you are needing out of it, what you want to get out of it, and making it your own. And that's really what we want to go through today, is really understanding that possibility, or what are the possibilities. And so what you'll be seeing right now is, I'm going to start with the web view. And there's a lot of customizations, that we can do throughout the platform. One of the things, on the main view, if you are an administrator or someone who has been designated as someone to customize, and so in the management utility, there's a checkbox now for if you choose different groups or individual users, you'll be able to see that there is a manage portal branding and customization. Another one to make note of is there's another new one, invite external users to work groups. That was released not long ago, months ago here, that you can now invite your subcontractors. So you need to make sure those are enabled if you want to be able to get into the web portal and do these things. So that's part of the management utility, the administrator utility section. So in here, when you do that, you have branding and customization right here. What you're able to do is move things around, change colors, fonts, logos, anything you want. And so in here, once you get into it, it's very nice. You have the ability to change images, like I said, if you want to do different URLs, or, we have our standard ones, or put your company logos in. You can put in news items such as intranet, links to your SharePoint, or links to your, maybe it's, as simple as going to your intranet site. And even on your intranet site here, we even imagine it and ran worldwide, use ProductivityNOW for our training. So we not only, advertise, sell, and, support it, we utilize it. We train on it. So in here, you could do it on your intranet site or point back to your intranet site with these news items, label it, put in a description and the link, the URL. And you can do that. What it would do is it shows up in these news item area right here. Very simple to put those in. The next thing you can do is change the theme, change your color, change whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It lets you do any colors, any fonts, or even one that you want new, and just call it, whatever you want. Your company name, put in, company ABC, and your font will be, comics or whatever you want it to be. Kind of like Career New. Yeah, I like the Comic Sans, a little more soft. And then foreground, you can let your marketing or your interior people who have all the color, palettes that they need for your company, mainly marketing people will be happy to do this, put them into the ProductivityNOW system, be able to really, mark this up and put it how you want, where, the fonts are, what they look like, different icons. It's really, highly customizable. So in here, you have that ability, and I'll discard that, but you have the ability to set up your own theme. And the theme includes colors, fonts, icons, things like that, your logos, all of that. You also up here have layout and assignments. So in here, you have the ability, and it's just telling me you're about to enable the custom page for all your company, not everyone. In here, you have the default, but you can do new or even per group layout assignments. So once you do a new one, you can do a blank one or from the selected. I'm just going to do from the selected. That way I don't start blank and I don't have to do everything over again. I may just say, I don't want that logo up there, or I don't want my assets over here. I want to move them, or I want to change settings, you know, overlay or panel. I want a type of layout. In here, you can move these. You can put them wherever you want. If you want this work groups down lower, then move it down, change it, put it where you want it, put your courses up above, do anything you wish in the page, and you'll be able to set up your own page, how you like it. That's really what this is about. It's just the idea that not everyone likes what we did. We tried to make it, you know, nice and what we thought everyone would do. But at the end of the day, to each their own, I say. You do what you want, and we allow you to do that. If you don't want your profile up here, move it around, or the search bar down lower. It doesn't matter. You can even get rid of things you don't want to show. So in here is a lot of customization. You can do it for the home screen or the learning center, where you remember the live events are, and the calendar for the live events, the individual learning courses, your enrollment history. Maybe I want that enrollment history up above the courses. Who knows, right? It's just whatever you want. And maybe I want that at the top. I don't want all of this. So it's really however you want to rearrange everything or get rid of things. But it's going to let you do that now. And you save it as a different name, you know, rename it up here, and you can make your own layout for everyone to see the way you want it. Very soon, you'll be able to see more asset types down here, these widgets. There will be some for a generic website or RSS feeds, things like that. That is on the development cycle right now to be released in the coming, you know, short term. But we absolutely are adding more widgets, and that will help you with, you know, linking over maybe to your different CRM or some type of systems that you may want to link, you know, with a web page, just as an example. So there's our layouts, customizations, brandings, themes, colors, everything that you're looking for in making the page look like your company. So in here, as you know, there's a lot of things you can do with layout, customization, color. That's one of the biggest things we get, and it's now fully functional and adding more widgets all the time. The next thing we want to go to is really, it comes back to, is our management utility. You're able to download that. We actually just updated it last night. So if you're interested in getting the latest build, nothing major, a lot of fit and finish is really what this build is for this management utility. Then Pinnacle Management Utility, download that, install it, the update, or if you haven't ever installed it, please do. Log in with your email and password. Then you're able to come into the manage content. Again, we were looking at the administrator a few minutes ago, but that's where you give people permissions. Then once you have the permission for manage content, you're able to get into this. This is really where you start making the content and the information behind the website yours. Whether you start building your own architectural or vault workflows, how do you do things? Yes, we have generic ones in here, how to configure, how to set up, and this is beyond the training. This is really just step by step what your procedure is. How do you do things? What do you have for settings? That way you're not having people go back to you all the time going, you know, I know it's in the template, I know it's in the style, but mine's not right. What is the setting it should be? And that information can then be pushed to the desktop with the Pinnacle user tools and the small HTML dialog that follows you. Like if you do the project command, it would come up with these different things right in front of them and link them right back to it in ProductivityNOW. So if you're not using the user tools, that's something to look at. So it gets onto their desktop, easy to access. So in here, as I mentioned, you have the ability to copy. I can come into custom or create my own new folder, a new workflow from scratch. I'm one of those. I'm going to do it from basically someone else's. I'm going to take what's there and build my own, and modify. And that's really what's nice is there are some BIM 360s in here, administrative. Maybe we want to look at that one. Workflow for cloud models, consuming and sharing. I'm just going to grab this workflow just for the heck of it. You can copy from our public. These are standard ones that we have built, and you can basically modify this. And that's what's great. You can add steps. So if there's a create project and you go to modify this process or this task, you have a workflow, a process, and a task. I can modify this. I can look at what it's showing me in here. I can redo the images if I want. If it's not quite like this on mine, I can actually go up to the camera. I can do a select area and go grab my website and be able to put it in. So it's very nice that you can, put in your own images. You can do tool links down here that give you the ability to open a file, and you can upload the file to the Pinnacle storage so that they can get it anywhere, not just on your maybe server in your environment. That way, if they're on an airplane or they're out of the office, they don't have to use any kind of VPN. You can open a web page. You can launch another application, send an email, launch other Pinnacle content that you put in, such as a document or video, applications, and an FTP site. So that lets you do pretty much anything you want. One of the main things we find is if you have a file, you can upload that file and put it in here so that they can get a hold of it. Maybe it's a zip or a RVT file or something like that, or a project file. That way you have it in here. So in here, you have that ability to modify. I could even put in, I need new steps. Right here, I need to put a step in. There's something missing in here. We're missing a step. So I'm going to name it. I'm going to put in my dialect or my information and description of what that step we're missing is. Maybe there's some setting, a screenshot that you want to put in, and you can do that. So you build upon what's already here. That's what's great. So the workflows are very powerful when it comes to creating a process or documenting your processes. I know you probably have it somewhere, someone has an old document or something. This really brings it live and creates it in front of the user, as I mentioned with our user utility, our user tools, This here, create, you can actually link over to documents. Maybe there's a workflow here, template, this one here that you can look at and see that we do this certain flow. We can link this into workflows or videos. Upload a video, bring it in and transcribe it. Edit the transcription once it's done. It is done by UI, so AI, And so we always find that, Revit is rabbit, things like that. We're trying to get it fixed. The idea is transcribing it lets your users search that video text. That way they find even more information than the metadata you put in as title and description. So videos, just drag and drop, create a new folder, set it up. When you create a new folder, you can actually set up a, Todd, and I can restrict it. So I can set, only administrators can see this right now and content managers. I don't want anyone else to see this until later. So that way it's, this is my development. That's what it is. We're developing. And from there, only those people can see it until I maybe create another one that's live, or a Vault Live or something, or whatever Revit may be. Who knows? Civil 3D, AutoCAD. But you can set it up by discipline, architecture, manufacturing, whatever you want. This is your hierarchy of, just like on your server. Then start dragging videos right into here and let it transcribe. When you bring a video in, you want to make sure that you are uploading it using Pinnacle storage again, so it doesn't try to go look at your server or your workstation where you brought it from. Make sure you put in, maybe this is a Vault video, and this is, a Vault process, I don't know what, but I'm going to select a product so I can tie it. It doesn't know what product it is until I tell it, right? It just knows it's a video. And then you browse to the path, you upload it, you transcribe it, auto-transcribe it, and then you can put in a description. It won't let me until I browse to a video, but you put in a description or some new tools that you can link over and do, kind of like I did earlier with a website or another file. But in here, this is where you have the ability to add your own video and transcribe it. Same things with documents, as I said. You can drag and drop. You can bring in your own, import your own document, or from public and modify them. You have all the different options right here to build your own information between workflows, documents, and videos, that then you can start creating your own quiz questions. Maybe you want to do question based on that content, because then once you build these questions, and this may be, again, I'm just going to follow the Vault just because it's a generic one that goes across different disciplines. But in here, Vault questions based on the information, the document, workflow, or video, and you can start building questions, true or false. You can put in multiple choice, single answer, multiple answer, or fill in the blank. So we have multiple types of questions. And if you need to put an image in for this, you can do that too. Maybe look at the image and tell me the answer. What this does, it allows you to then require the correct answer to pass. Maybe you have 5 questions, and then you need 3 to pass. You allow them to have 2 floating, because then limit the number of questions. We only want 3 questions out of the 5 asked, but they randomize. So we have a few sections or selections down here that let you really do a lot of rotating, because that's one of our main questions we get on our quizzes is, do they have randomization? Yes, we do. So the other side of this, you can actually import learning paths. You can build a new one, or again, from public. That's my favorite. Go in, say, I'm going to go Vault again. We'll go 2020 Essentials. I can take our Ascent and Eagle Point based content, and I can go in and delete chapters. Maybe we're not working with items right now in our company. I can delete that chapter. But you know what? When we're managing change, or let's say introduction, go back up to here. If I don't like the first page or these videos, I can delete them or remove them, or I can start adding my own workflows. I can go in and say, I want to add that workflow, or, I want to add a certain part of the workflow right in here and add it in there, or the entire workflow at the beginning. Then down the road, maybe as I'm talking about released items in the learning itself, I can actually refer back to this release process, what is released and what is our process. So you see how you can go in also and say, maybe I want to just apply this document and put it in there. Then at the bottom, it puts it down here. I can move it up anywhere I want and put it right in the middle of my documentation or my learning. So that's what's great about this system. I can go add a video right in here as well, just like we've done. You can do all this. So everything in here, you build, as you go. You can run this and out of the box. You can learn, make sure everyone's on the same page or same level of learning or knowledge of the Autodesk software. And then start building with, I recommend a few, if you have it, 1 to, 5 or whatever you can do that are content managers. They just build content. They add information. From there, put some quiz questions in, add your learning path from, the standard content, and start putting in lots of information right in the book that's pertinent to your company, your processes. That's what I love about this system, is it lets me make it my own now. The other thing we can do, we've added live events. You can actually create a custom live event. So a new live event, I can reference that vault training. I can say as a prerequisite, before you attend my vault workshop or lunch and learn, I want you to pass the test or the quizzes on the information I put in the system. So you're at this level now. We know you understand vault. My lunch and learns are going to bring us up to the next level, live training. Additional info, maybe it's, we're going to have pizza. What kind of pizza you want? Registration, yes. Did you attend or not? So I can monitor tracking, it's even more information. Survey, maybe I want to see how I did. Do a description. This is your event, name of it and a description. From there, you can do a session. Maybe I'm going to have it on January 13th or, July, August. Where are we now? Anyway, in August, we have that. So the next thing is I want to look at is one moment here. I'm bringing up my other session that has more information in it, or should anyway. No, it doesn't. Let me go back to this one. I think I had the wrong one up. I have 2 sessions up. So documents, nope, they're both the same, darn it. So in here, I want to make sure that we have the ability to do sessions, multiple sessions, be able to go in and say on August 21st, next Friday, we're going to do a session on AutoCAD blocks or AutoCAD X reference. But I want you to go through chapter XYZ to really understand that first. It doesn't have to be an entire course, but I can say, I want to have you go through chapter XYZ or, 3 of AutoCAD books so that I know you know blocks. Then in that session, you're able to go back and set up a time, a URL. So here we are. Had to log back in. So here's my session. I can either invite or assign. I can modify this, or I can get information. Like I said, a certain time, it's an hour, training room 1 or a URL. You can set up limits, make it a private event. You can add additional information. This was doors and walls. We're going to be covering in the walls and doors advanced topics. So the prerequisite was chapter whatever of Revit or the entire Revit course. And then tracking, attend, yes or no, and what's my survey? That pulls from the event. So this is really taking your Outlook calendar that you already use for maybe some live lunch and learns and just adding more metadata and information, prerequisite courses, things like that, just giving you more power, more information. That's what they're doing. And this is phase 2 of our events. So we have more planned. It's going to be integrated more with 365, things like that, maybe more teams, obviously, as we go forward. As a platform, that's what we're looking for as well. So a lot of this information right here is truly, customized just for your environment, for your processes. This is how you do it. You get into the management utility, you have the ability then to give people the permissions to put in that information. Again, as I went into permissions earlier, I showed you administrator, you have these down here, manage portal branding. If you go to a content manager, people who do that, they can manage the content. They can't manage users, but they can do pretty much everything else. And you add those people in so that they have that power and ability. So in here, you have customization of the users and permissions. You have permission to get into the managed content. You can start building your own documentation in there. Take it from your server. You have the original. Upload it to the server, the cloud, so that people can download it offline, get on an airplane, or if they're not in the office, they can get on their web, browser, their iPad, their tablet, computer, and look at this information anywhere. A lot of people working from home, they may be using BIM 360, so you're not even using a VPN. I know, imagine it, we don't hardly ever use VPN. We have everything in the cloud, so we just go directly to it with single sign-ons. Another thing that I was thinking about was that you have the ability to manage your content, your live learning. We have our live learning sessions as well, these LLS, the live lecture series. You can actually take and, we store those after the fact, or our knowledge base articles. You actually can use those for your own benefit, manufacturing 7 videos. Maybe you want to take something on this custom parts and inventor. You want to use that or break it up or do something with it for your own use. You have the ability now. And these are just, the live lecture series that we did live that we recorded and put into the system for you to have access to use as you need. Because it is diving in with an instructor on that particular feature and answering questions. We have it in general, we have it in architecture, civil, and this is more architectural, MEP, and everything. I actually need to get that renamed. I have it written down. I just haven't had time. But, you got MEP systems and creating pipes, so it's really not just architectural anymore. We've expanded it beyond. So in here, again, customization is huge. You really want to make it your own. Then you can start gathering information into the work groups or into your own Revit library or Vault library. You can actually limit the information under Autodesk. If you want to customize the information that is in the asset library, you can manage your asset libraries. You can create your own. We kind of go along and do our own here, but this is your asset library. You could create a new one and say, I only want to show certain products up there. This just automatically picks everything that's up there and builds its own. We try to be smart about it, the automation. But you can build your own asset library up here, or you can go into our subscription asset library down here below the line and actually bring in or hide the information you don't want to see. So maybe you don't want to see all this information. Maybe these products you don't want on the side over here. It doesn't mean you can't search those. The searchability is still there. The content's still there. This is just a table on the side. So maybe you don't want people looking at Map 3D or MEP or plant or mechanical. You don't want those. So go in and hide them in the system here so that you can see exactly what you want to see or have your users see. you're narrowing their search and view criteria, which they don't get off on tangents on products they don't even have. Also, you can limit the set public content visibility. That's where the content itself resides. You can hide that document, that video, that workflow, that learning path. You can hide them as a group or individually. That's where, if you want to hide the content for all mechanical, AutoCAD mechanical, this is where public content. A couple other things that are nice: extend your search. Maybe I want it to go to knowledge base on Autodesk. Instead of having people go to Google and just search, maybe once they do a search inside of ProductivityNOW, once they get this, you'll see at the top that extended search. So you're controlling a little bit more where they're going to be searching. I put this in a lot for our customers. And if you're interested, let us know. That's the search result right there that you want to put in. And that will search that term blocks in the Autodesk network, knowledge network. A couple other little things. View content selection or suggestions. If people put comments or suggestions on the content in the system, this will show suggestions at startup. So if someone does, it's going to pop up and say there's comments. Otherwise, you can come in and actually, remove them, go to it, copy it, and remove it. All those comments. The other idea is managing, sometimes you need a little more. Content changes, manage departments, manage groups. You can do it here. Your asset libraries, as we talked about, you can manage your products here. Maybe you want to add a product that is not even Autodesk, that you want to add some documentation in the system. By the way, you can do that. You can go in, and if you're running software XYZ and you have some PDFs or HTML or something, videos of it, you can build your own training based on that information. You can put it in this learning management system, because that's what this is, an LMS. You can build your own products and your own training. Bring in, maybe make a workflow. Bring in your documents. Bring in your videos. Create some questions. You need to quiz them a little. And then build a learning path. You can do that. You don't have to use the Autodesk or what we have in here. You can build all your own and make it your own. IT, HR, another department. Have it available for all your people to learn, whoever used that software. So understand, it's a complete open LMS. We just have a lot of content in there to start with, which is really nice to get started with. Like I said, I'd love it's like that rinse and reuse.